Hello, my name is Araujo Marques, and today I'm going to present you my work. The Nature of Healthy Spaces, Biophilic and Biomimetic Inspired Projects to Promote Quality of Life. Throughout its history, humanity actually has taken a position of domination and control over nature. In fact, our practices of extracting materials and energy from the natural environment still occur today. We can see it in our complex systems and the many ephemeral objects that surround us. And all of these actually fundaments and structures our urban areas that are in its turn defined by an incessant flow of information and of activities. And these human creations are not often human friendly. So we can also notice a detachment of scale and of the use of locally sourced materials. And all of these aspects are very closely related to the global ecological crisis that in its turn impacts our own health. And an example of such is the COVID-19 pandemic that we are dealing with presently, and all of the sanitary restrictions that were necessary. So here we can perceive an important need for change in the human-environment relationship, and also a need to reevaluate, redesign, and readapt our spaces and our objects and all of human creations. And one of the possibilities to make these creations more human-friendly and actually planet-friendly would be to seek nature, inspiration from nature itself and all of its virtuous systems. So two domains that actually are based on natural knowledge are biomimicry and biophilia that could offer many strategies for new human creations. So through these domains, it would be possible to analyze the life cycle of objects and of constructions, and actually to focus on the reconnection of humans with the nature itself. And in fact, it would also be possible to promote health and quality of life and seek the prevention of diseases through nature-inspired projects. So here, more specifically, biophilia is a field that explores the human emotional and innate connection with nature, which actually provides performance and health improvements. So the closely relation with nature could enhance the perception of well-being. Some examples of this can be found in the educational sphere. That would be an improvement of focus when we have contact with nature. In the commercial spaces, it would be possible to attract more customers into spaces. In workplaces, it would be possible to reduce absenteeism and to improve productivity. And also, and most importantly, the use of biophilic principles could assist in the faster recovery of patients in medical facilities. Here we have the 14 principles of biophilia. Some of these principles brings nature directly into the space, such as the visual and non-visual connection and the presence of water. We also have some principles that surrounds the configuration of objects and spaces, such as the use of biomorphic shapes and patterns, and the offer of free views and refuge and resting areas. So here we have the other field, that is biomimicry, that actually seeks the innovation inspired by nature. So it is based on three essential elements. The ethos that actually revolves around all of the philosophical and ethical principles that are closely related to the importance of preserving nature for the future generations. We also have the reconnection of humans with nature and the emulation itself. So we use all of the biologic knowledge gathered from nature and through abstraction and the interpretation of this biological knowledge, it is possible to apply these informations into new designs. So biomimicry views nature as a model, a measure, and a mentor, and the mimicry occurs by the mimicry of natural forms, natural processes, and natural ecosystems. Here we have some of its main principles. So to adapt to changing conditions, to be locally attuned and responsive, and to use life-friendly chemistry are some examples. And now, much more specifically about the method of this work. So a descriptive and exploratory study was undertaken with the main purpose of identifying, describing, and classifying biophilic and biomimetic-based projects that aimed at creating objects, materials, and spaces that contribute to preventing diseases and promoting health and quality of life. So a multiple case study approach was chosen, and here we have some of the axes of analysis that were used. Now, about the cases that are closely related to materials, here we have Sharklet antibacterial film. This is a material that was inspired by the dermal denticles of shark skin, and this is a product that actually inhibits the bacterial growth and bacterial attachment to surfaces through a nanostructure, a nanopattern, very similar to the shark skin. And this is an object that could be this is an artifact that could inspire and aid into the creation of new medical devices, and could be also applied in high-touch surfaces. And it would actually avoid the use of the biocidal approaches to clean surfaces and objects that currently are used and that actually make bacteria stronger in the end. So it is a very interesting creation. So now here we have the second case that are the Metalmark filters. This is an air purification system that effectively removes and decomposes the pollutants and pathogens found in the air. And it is inspired by the nanostructures found in the Metalmark butterflies. This is a nanostructure that is capable of breaking down when applied to the product. It breaks down the box and ultrafine particulates and the odor-producing chemicals that are not commonly broken down by normal air filters. So this product actually could improve the energy efficiency because it does not require high temperatures to filter the air, and it is much more house friendly. It could be used in residential areas and would actually contribute to make environments safer for humans and for animals, because many of the day-to-day objects and cleaning products that we use actually release chemical compounds that are dangerous and that are associated with some diseases. So this filter could actually help into cleaning the air in many facilities and spaces. Here we have the third case, that is the Lotus effect. Lotus plants actually stay dirt-free in their muddy habitats. Stillcorp use this principle in its material proposition. So this is a material that could be applied in building facades to avoid the use of harsh chemicals and the need of repaint the surfaces of buildings. So this product would actually maintain the facades clean and would protect from algae and fungi growth. And actually the dirt particles would be easily carried away by the simple action of the rain. So this is a very interesting product that would allow for easy cleaning of buildings. As our fourth case, we have the Vesta face mask. This is a mask that used a material that is based on the shell of crustaceans, and it is the first Brazilian N95 face mask, made with Kaizosen nanotechnology that is capable of retaining and deactivating the COVID-19 virus and other viruses. And it uses an inexpensive material that is biodegradable, biocompatible, non-toxic, and antimicrobial. So it can be easily used in medical facilities, and it actually could inspire other medical devices and medical gowns and other products that could also benefit from the antimicrobial action. Here we have now some cases that are much more object-oriented. So we have Cultiva, that is an object that can be integrated directly into building facades. That is a product inspired by a leaf cutter and mounts and the Aspalatia plant foliage. And this is a cooling system that directs the airflow to the inside of the buildings, at the same time cooling and refreshing the air, because its ceramic structure is combined with a water compartment. So when people irrigate the plant, it actually makes all the structure to be much fresher, and the air that flows inward through the structure into the building actually gets refreshed. So this product would reduce the energy use and climatization of spaces, especially in hot areas, and would reinforce the human connection with nature, because it directly brings much more greenery into the building facades. Here we have the microclimate generator screen wall. This is a similar product that can be applied into building facades and architectonic structures. And it was based on the Vonoroy model that combines all these organic shapes with empty spaces. So this is a parametric shading device for hot and humid areas that assists in mitigating the heat island effect, and that can be used together with the integration of plants, as we can see here in the middle component. And this is a product that could also be made directly with plant fibers and natural fibers, such as the coconut fiber and natural resins. So it would be also a biodegradable product. Here we have a project that is a hotel project named Votu Hotel. This is a project for Bahia, Brazil, and all of the bungalows that are in this hotel were inspired by the prairie dog burrows and the cactuses, some structures found in cactuses. And so these bungalows incorporated many bioclimatic aspects in its structure, such as the use of natural ventilation, the use of green roofs, and the architects and designers were seeking the use of less energy and all of these other strategies to promote thermal comfort, because this hotel is in a very hot area. So here we have a comparison between prairie dog burrows and the architectonic solution. We can see the air flowing through the structure and refreshing all of the structure. And here we can see also the cactuses structure and a similar structure that was used in the facades. And as the eighth case, we have the Eastgate building. This is a shopping center and an office building in Zimbabwe. And in Zimbabwe, we have a situation that we have a very hot climate that usually requires buildings to be cooled all year round, which generates in its turn very high costs in air conditioning systems. But this building used a strategy of materials of high thermal capacity that were combined with a system of fans and openings and chimneys that drives the airflow from the inside of the building to maintain the constant interior temperatures. This system was inspired by the termite mounds, as we can see here on the left, and also integrated vegetation directly into the building facade to reduce the heating by solar radiation. Here we have the ninth case, that is Paley Park. Paley Park is a park, an urban pocket park created in 1967, and this is a very remarkable example of a very small space that actually uses many biophilic principles, such as trees, a big waterfall, flexible seating, the richness in texture, to generate an oasis in the middle of the skyscrapers. So it could inspire many future projects in architecture, for example. And here we have as the last and 10th case, the Ostra Hospital Psychiatric Facility. This is a project that ensured that all patients had consistent access to a view of elements of nature, both indoors and outdoors. And this project also explored a very well organized spatial hierarchy of 4 L-shaped apartments connected by a spine to 3 outdoor courtyards. So here we have a comparative analysis, each case with its classification. So the cases 1 to 4 were classified as material focused. The cases 5 and 6 were connected to the objects, and cases 7 to 10 were much more spatial driven. Here, each case was connected to 2 biomimetic principles, so we can observe that cases 5, 6, and 10 use the most biomimetic principles. And now this similar comparison, but now with biophilic principles, we can see that cases 1 to 4 use mostly biomorphic shapes and patterns, and cases 7, 9, and 10 use the greater number of biophilic principles. So, in conclusion, it is possible to say that projects that were directly inspired by nature actually could provide many opportunities to improve the quality of life by integrating natural elements, natural ventilation, the use of readily available energy, and so it would actually also encourage behaviors that meet the current sustainability requirements. So it is recommended that future research to be carried out both in the health area based on the contributions of the nature-inspired fields to generate new projects, new designs, and new proposals inspired by nature. Here we have some of the references that inspired this work. And here is my contact information, and I thank you very much for your attention.